Right, so here we are on Monday, and I've been looking forward to doing this one after yesterday's Kerno 2100 GTL, which turned out to be an absolute little gem of a set. It's what I like about doing these different sets, because there are the odd ones we've never seen before, and that's one. So this customer's, there's two sets in from him, Rotel 230 I think it is, and this TTI TCB550. Yes, he's saying about the melody when you switch on. This started with, as far as I remember, with the Maxon PM150 business radio with the switch on melody while it boots up, and there isn't anything you can do to suppress that. Get a nice rubber band. And a microphone to go onto the ceramic floor. Yeah, when I downloaded an instruction book as poxy as this, I thought, somebody's not scanned that right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, because they've now got the original. I'm going to scan this individual frames. It'll take about 40 minutes. High resolution, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11 pages, and then print it out, spiral bound or A4 in book form so I can actually read it. What a rubbish thing, but it's cheap and they expect you to throw it away. Perhaps that's what they think about the radio. Well, I can't see what that says on the back. So we've had 3 versions. This is now the 3rd version of this. So it's a bit like the Thunderbolt T800, which we're now on the 3rd version of. And this is, as the owner says, a bit of a competitor to that. I thought we'd seen the last of TTI. It kind of came and went, but it looks like no. So with a serial number with the O's, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2020 manufacture. Oh, BT, does that mean Bluetooth? Is that what you're gaining? I like to act the pillock, and I went into Curry's and says, have you got one of those green fang things? So where does it mention this? Right, so its approval is October 2022. So it is a new, this is 2023 as I record this. So it's definitely very recent. And I noticed this is Korea, so it may be made in China, but it looks like they're designing this in Korea, which tells me then, is it a Maxon thing? So it's 1224 volt. It's AM FM. It's 0.7 microvolts best sensitivity. Anyway, I can't see any mention of Bluetooth on that, but there you are. But a squawk it has. Well, I won't alter anything, but we'll open it up. I want to see if there's any adjustments whatsoever. So I seem to... What was the difference between the 550 and the 550N? Did we go from a few conventional parts to no conventional parts in it all being surface mount? with the 550N. But I do know one thing. We tested the 550 and the 550N side by side on one test, and the later 550N didn't work as well. New, unimproved. Have you ever done that? I used to enjoy getting a particular chocolate cake from Aldi, and then suddenly new improved one came out and it was awful, so I never bought it again. Who actually thinks of improved? Or is it improved profit margin? Oh, this is another thing while I'm on about daft things, while I take this apart. Why on earth do I get advertisements for tablets and pills and medicines and things? Why? What on earth would somebody in the UK actually go out and buy medication for, apart from the old packet of paracetamol for 19p from your local supermarket? Why? If you've got something wrong, you go and see the doctor. I've got a skin tag on the top of my leg. I don't need some strange skin tag begone thing. And I took a photo of it, and I've emailed it through to the doctor, and the doctor says, yeah, we've booked you in for the 5th of July, and we'll chop that off. That's it. NHS, National Health Service, that's how it works. You know, so, wow, I've got to wait 5 weeks, haven't I? But it's getting frustrating. You pull your clothes on and it starts to catch. So I thought, well, it's gone. But, you know, if you wanted some kind of pain begone, well, you'd say, look, doctor, I'm in pain. And they'd say, oh, we'll put you on these tablets then. And guess what? I'm over 60, so it's entirely free. It's free for people under 16. You can pay by a prepayment certificate instead of £9 a prescription. I was having blood pressure treatment from 40 onwards, and there was 3 lots of tablets a month. So if I was paying £9 or whatever it is per prescription, I mean, people abroad may think, wow, that's a good deal. But there's a better deal, because you have a prepayment certificate, which is if you need 20 different bottles and potions every month, then that's all you pay. That's it, the £120 a year. And you can pay that monthly. So without any extra fee, you know. So, unbelievable. But this, yeah, you're going to need this tablet, you're going to need that tablet. Pain be gone. Introductory offer, $20. Why? Don't they know I'm in the UK? Oh, let's buy some pretend tablets instead of the real ones from the doctor. Right, it is the 26th today, that I know. TTI TCB550EVO stick. Has he put the serial number down? No, he hasn't. Are we going to unplug the speaker without the wire snapping off? Yeah, we've successfully done that. Thin wire, lots of new sets, very thin wire on the speaker. So I don't know how the date codes work on these, but it certainly didn't work for me. Let's look at the other side of the board. It's kind of as you'd expect. To be a multi-layer plated through board. It does have some adjustments. Adjustments that actually are labelled. And it's not got any duff capacitors, which is even better. I tell you what, you can't have had this long. But this BT must be Bluetooth, and it's a USB-C, isn't it? Good. So, cigarette lighter plug. He does mention that only one side connects to earth, which is pretty standard. It's 50-50, I would say, amongst cigarette lighter plugs. We're just not geared up for cigarette lighter plugs. It wouldn't take much to do, but I've never got round to it, have I? But just too much on. 13.8 volts. and the radio's not drawing any current, so that's handy to know. So I'll pick the factory original mic up off the floor. It's a very light mic, so it's going to be an Electret type, and what's it say? Made in Romania? Oh no, it's PNI it comes from, is it? The importer. Made in China, 1000 ohms condenser. It's funny how the word capacitors never come into microphones, has it? It's like condenser in motor cars. Not that I think they have those anymore. Showing my age once again. Right, switch on. I think he said it's UK channels he wants. Oh yeah, of course I have got it connected to the inert side of the socket. That's better. It's lit up red. It's had a 19-mile chat on it. So let's see about this switch on melody. You see, we haven't got a speaker plugged in, so I'll plug in the test speaker wherever the socket is. Yeah, right. Well, I'm afraid that's how it is. Last point, if it matters, I only intend using the 550 and the 230 on UK FM channels, so yeah, we'll tune it up on channel 20 then. But we will do the test on everything it's got. So you've got no modulation transformer, so if it really does do AM in some mode or other, which we'll come to, which it says it does, it uses a different technique. And that's not necessarily a NAF technique, because in the 1970s when I was working on business radios, the Pi Olympic, we were an awful lot of taxi firms around Nottingham on VHF high band AM, and the Pi Olympic was a 10 watt AM business radio on VHF high band. So we're talking about 166, 172 megs somewhere up there. Usually split channel. You've got a 4.8 split usually between the transmit and the receive, so cars can't talk to each other. As part of the reason for that, and it has to be done through the base. So there are legal things like that. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, I want that." You don't. You get what you're given. I'm going to do a discussion. There's talk about a license, ham radio license in the UK going to 1 kilowatt. Now, as an A licensee who currently has a 400 watt license, I've got nothing over 55 watts. I'm not interested in high power. It's just a point. You're coming up to pirate power, aren't you there? They'll be able to pack in being pirates and become real radio hams. And I understand the entry thing they're intending to take from 10 watts to 20 watts. So I'll look at that discussion document. I'll take it to bed. It's the kind of thing I take to bed. Okay, so transmit, we'll start on, I'm only interested in the UK set of channels, so we'll put it on channel 20, which is up down. At least it's got a squelch knob, which goes a long way in what I think of it, and 2.9 watts. Always add 0.4 to what I tell you because of this being a selective power meter. 2.9 watts. So if we ever get 3.6 watts out of radio, well, you could say that it was 4 really, because it deducts all the interference in its reading, which is how it should be. Channel 1, 2.9 watts. Channel 40, 2.9 watts. Out of interest, scan. I don't know how to go into AM/FM at the moment. So we'll carry on as we were. Back to channel 20. It's getting too hot in this room. I'll have to put the air conditioning on. We'll try and keep as long as we can. Low power, of course, it doesn't have. It's not a 2781 set. The transmit current at the moment is 1.32 amps. So it's more than you would be an older set because it has a CPU to run. Deviation. Got to retune it because we were doing something else yesterday. Wallow. 1, 2. Wallow. Wallow. About 1.4 kilohertz. We'll verify that with the test set behind me. We won't be doing the VCO. Test set's been on 10 minutes. 27.79095. I'm not going to write that in until we get to the much nearer the end because it's not fair. So we'll do the receiver and we'll set the signal generator to equal the transmitter, which if I just key up and show you, 27.79096. We'll now tune the signal generator to 27.79, so that it's absolutely fair. Cyanide meter on, looks pretty sensitive, and you know what, this is me this time. I haven't had the picture-in-picture on, that's definitely me, it's not the machine this time. Right, we'll go back to this, we'll go back to the power meter. So we're on the 3 watt scale, 2.9 watts. Over to deviation, wallow, about 1.4. Wants to be 2 point something, and then over to the frequency counter, and we'll just show you 27.79126. And so I've set the signal generator. We now go to the signal generator 27.79096, so it's equal. Now we'll go to the cyanide meter. So we'll go for 12 dB. That's 12. Dancing around a bit. 0.78. I wouldn't say the... I'll do that again. 0.52. For 10 dB, 0.47. And for 20 dB, it will do it. Change scales. 1.1. Squelch. Go to the attenuator. So there's no hard and fast rule on this, but I like the full squelch to be openable at 100 microvolts, so it's an S9 equivalent signal. So 3, 10, 30, 100, it's not there. But it's there at 300. We get a fine reading. Actually 220. There's nothing wrong with that, but it'd be nice if it could be lowered. The threshold, we'll turn the signal generator to standby, parking it at 0.3 of a microvolt, turn the squelch down on the radio, set the threshold position, switch the signal generator back on, straight in. 0. That's very, very good. 0.267. Out of interest, I'll put in auto squelch. I don't know whether it's true auto, whether it's preset. Switch to auto squelch and see when it comes in. Get a fine reading, 2.5 microvolts. Has it got a meter on it? Nope. Good. How many pounds am I pushing you? I haven't got the foggiest. Right, that's made a start. So what can be adjusted in it? And the answer is not a lot, because it's the way it's manufactured. So there aren't any adjustments other than some presets. This isn't a bad thing. It just means that either tolerances of components have improved, or it means that they're selected on test. So it's manufactured to a certain point, it's tested, more parts are put in, it's tested, and the parts which are put in are selected automatically on the result of the previous test. So as it builds up, there's more parts. They don't put the board in a chassis like this. They have a pin jig which makes contact on the underside at certain points, and it just very, very clever how this is done. This is how mobile phones are done. So we do have a trimmer capacitor there, which is interesting. That can't be the reference crystal there, can it? Looks like it's the IF. It does have frequency adjust. Look, it's got a reference crystal for that. It's got a frequency adjust for the IF reference crystal, which is very unusual. I'm going to have to get the second signal generator out to set that. So, what have we got? Well, you know what? I think I was going to have to turn in and do a photo first, but in actual fact, I don't, because they're labelled. Frequency, not labelled, but we know that's going to be IF. Squelch, DSS will be digital squelch. Power low, power high. Now this, I think, comes from, with Germany, they've got a 1 watt setting, which they did have, which I think is now not there. So we'll get that adjusted. So whether or not we're on low, whether or not on high, can be a bit of both. Okay, so let's go into power meter. And let's take it from 2.9 watts. That tool doesn't fit. That tool doesn't fit. It's going to be novel, isn't it? That tool doesn't fit. We do have others. Not that one. So between the two, we're getting 3.4 watts. Now, does this definitely say 24 volts on it? It does on the front, but it doesn't on the back, so I'm not going to jack it up to 24 volts. Let's see what else we've got. Squelch, digital squelch. APC sounds like automatic power control. So this is a third one. Well, it's nothing to do with that. Right. AM mod, FM mod. In which case it should be deviation, but there you go. And that looks to be what we've got. So let's look at... Oh, we can't look at AM without going out of... So the customer is only going to pay me for UK 40. As part of this demonstration, I'm going to go into EU, for which there's an extra fee, but he won't be charged the extra fee because it's part of our demonstration. So we'll see, we'll turn it off, see how we get it into EU. So we want it in EU mode. So the way we've got it UK, it's British frequencies only, so we'll make sure we put it back there. If we had it in UE, it'd be 40 UK channels, 40 EU channels, FM only. So what we're going to have to do, which we can legally do, is to put it into EU mode and do EU set of channels only, but AM, FM. So let's see what happens. Yeah. Band selection, right. Pressing the AM, FM button, switch on the radio, and then do what? No idea. So it's now flashing that, so we want it into EU, which was just there. Sometimes you press the transmit to make it go into whatever, and that's exactly what it's done. So we want it on, we'll put it on channel 20. And we'll switch it to AM, which is there. Wallow. Wallow. Oh, I've got to retune the thing. and unplug the extension speaker. Wallow. So it's actually over the mod. What did it say it's supposed to be? Well, up to about 93%, so we're a bit beyond that, I think. I'll use the oscillator this time. Wallow. So that's going to be round about 90%. Sorry, not around about 93%. It's just over the edge of my scale, which ends at 90%. So, out of interest, let's see how it receives on AM. Usually they're less sensitive. So it's 27205 on the signal generator. Put that up on the screen. Tell you what, we might put this on frequency at this point. I'll go back into that. We'll put it on frequency 27205. It's only 7.205 and a little bit because it dropped with age. So that's now spot on. So we'll set the signal generator to 27205. So once we've got, you know, I'm doing a test with some pure AM sets which we're importing, which are, because they have to be CE approved to be legally usable here. We did the first one, which was a Midland 199A. We've got another one, I think it's a Midland Zero or something. It may even arrive today, that's coming in from France. Once we've done those, we're then going to test them AM set to AM set. So we've got a benchmark, and then we'll see how multi-norms perform, because there's a bit of a question, do multi-norms actually work on each mode as well as a pure AM set or a pure FM set? So that's something we need to just prove. Once that's happened, we'll be taking the Midland 78 Plus multi out of the test car and fitting the Thunderpole T3000. This will be one of the last tests we use the Midland 78 on. I put it to the vote and that's what's being voted. 27205, I think it's 81% to 19% have voted in favour of doing that. So we'll put the extension speaker back in. We're in AM, as you can tell. And let's see what the cyanide reading is for AM. So for 12 dB, let's put that up on the screen, it's 1.7. So we'll now switch to FM. I'll write that down so we don't forget. So CEPT 27.205 AM is 1.7 microvolts for 12 dB cyanide. Now we'll go to FM and it should romp back to 0.5. So FM, switch is set to FM, and straight away look how the cyanide meter has jumped beyond 20. And we've got bang on 0.5 microvolts for 12 dB cyanide. I don't expect this power's any different. Let's go back to that meter. Turn the volume down. And we've got 3.5 watts on FM. So 3.5 watts and on AM that was unfair because I'm getting feedback and it's going to give more power, so just do that again. It's 3.5. Sometimes there's a discrepancy between AM and FM power, so that just shows you this, and it's quite normal. If you have a pure AM set, it's going to be less sensitive than a pure FM set as well. So we've done AM mod. I need to verify deviation with the test set behind me. We'll go back to the UK set of channels. So switching the set off, switching on with the AM FM button, going to UK only set of channels, pressing the PTT locks it in. It doesn't tell you that in the instructions, but it does. I don't know why sets boot up on channel 9. Seriously, is anybody monitoring channel 9? Well, farmers use it around here, and there's no legal reason why they shouldn't. Put speaker back in. And what have we got to do? Oh yes, deviation. So I'll just unplug from this test set, plug into the test set behind me, and we'll just make that adjustment on a deviation meter I know is accurate. I say this one's intermittent. It's usually alright on AM, and it's the fact we've got the reading we did proves it is okay on AM today. It's just capacitor, I can't get onto it because it means taking it off the bench. It would be down for weeks, and we just can't be doing that at this stage. So, here we go. Need to change my glasses for that one. So I'll tell you the figures. Might as well turn picture in picture off, it's not going to tell us anything. Whoa, it's too quiet. It's 1.8. Now this is going to be fun because these are difficult to adjust. That's that done. Pause the video. Okay, so it's colouring in time. So I went to a lot of trouble to scan that instruction leaflet. And now we've got it in a more sensible format, which we can actually read. Ooh, I am a clever boy. So that's that. I've done the photograph. Powers between those two. What else was there? So FM deviation, AM mod. Better put the title on this as well. TTI TCB550EVO stick. Right, so we've got power, we've got, that's going to be receive frequency, this is general frequency. So we'll put that down as TX frequency. This needs doing first. And then we've got APC, which we never got to the grounds of what it does. Squelch and digital squelch. We won't be touching digital squelch because I'm sure it's set in an OK position. And then finally we've got this, which is RX frequency. I haven't even proved that it is yet, but it will be. You don't often see that. It means using two signal generators to set it up. I did do the deviation, in fact I'm still plugged into that. So that's where we are with the layout. Switch off the other test set. It's now 2 o'clock and I've still not got the air conditioning on in here. So we'll now set the signal generators to 27. We'll set this on channel 20 UK, so 2779125. Put picture in picture on. It says it's working here. That means nothing. Wow, spot on. I'm doing this on purpose. So normally leave them a bit high. Let's plug this second signal generator in. We want this on 10.695. Good. The signal, first of all, I'll just take that away. Turn the tone off on the signal generator. Let's go to the attenuator. Because it's at 1 microvolt with the tone off, if you can see the red light. So we'll introduce this. We've got a musical note, so we need to nullify that. Okay, well, it doesn't do what I thought it did. It's interesting that the receive is lower than transmit. Let's look at the frequency counter. Oh no, it's higher. The receive is higher. Why is that then? How strange. So is it IF injection level? Right, so we'll turn that off. That didn't work. So let's see what happens. Let's put the synod meter on. Do we have an improvement in the synod with more or less IF injection? Does it affect the detector, which there isn't a coil for it? You assume this is preset. Let's go to the oscilloscope. It's shaping. So we want that. It is to do with frequency, but not affecting the receive frequency. So it is affecting the IF. So we've now got that absolutely spot on for the best possible sine wave. We could do that again. I'll take it back out. We're over to the right, central, over to the left. So that's about the central position, which is going to be the best possible receive. So I assume this is, I don't know whether that's a ceramic resonator. That looks like a reference crystal. Or is that the filter? I don't know. Right, so we've done that. So we'll move over to the squelch. Back to the attenuator. Turn all that off. Squelch. So I'm going to turn it to 100 microvolts. And on the attenuator, 3, 10, 9, 30, 100. So I want the squelch to open. There's no hard and fast rule on this, but experience to me is 100 microvolts for full squelch. Which is there. And that now opens at 100 microvolts, which is what I wanted. So now we'll check. Oh, we're going to go through all these synod things again. That's now 2.2 to 2.5. This is this is now 3.4 watts across the scale. Add to that 0.4 from the way my test set works, and it would be you'd say 3.8 watts, 3.9, somewhere around there. It's nothing to be concerned about. My test, the setting our test cards at 3.6 watts, and on transmit our current now is 1.45. Frequency was slightly high. No, it wasn't. It was slightly low. It's now 27.79.125 for channel 20. I think it was 27.79.105. It was neither here nor there. So squelch is now 100 microvolts for tight. So let's see where it is now at the other end. So let's turn the squelch down. Set it to threshold. We've got the signal generation on standby. Put that back on. Straight in at 0.3. Coming in at 0.75. No. Coming in at 0.24. On one scale lower than usual. So that we won't have altered. But let's check it. .4. So this time, no, it's 2.3. So as we brought that down, that's come down a bit, but it must be interactive slightly. So we'll look at the synod meter. Let's go over to that. So start at 12. So we've now got 0.52. Bearing in mind there's no adjustments, but I did do that IF crystally thing. 0.47, and for 20 it's a whisker away from 1. Move scales, still 1.1. So absolutely no change, which is to be expected. There we are, we're done. So we've checked it on 80 channels, which so the customer's not being charged for. We've done AM, which the customer's not being charged for. We've discovered, as expected, the receiver is inferior on AM than it is FM. Oh, it's time to put the lid on. Where did I hide that? If it was my set, I'd put it on 24 volts. It's not my set, so I won't. Just in case it's all lies. This is fun to get together. So I checked with our wholesaler, and they're still selling the other version, the N version. So, you know, I think this is. I don't know whether this has come from Europe or what. I'm really not bothered, but as far as I was concerned, the N version was still the current model. But it's got that socket on the back that says BT, and I'm sure it doesn't stand for British Telecom. Disconnect the test gear, switch the test gear off, save a bit of electricity. I think I swiped 2 of these screws onto the floor, so we'll just put 2 new ones in. So it's not a set I can see there's anything wrong with. It's got some menus, as I showed you in the instruction book, to remove things like the bleeps, which have been removed, and to remove, you can change the colour. I wouldn't want it amber, I'd want it green, and so on. Right, we'll plug the aerial in, which is the Antron 99 or whatever. Could be a Solarcon 99, it could be anybody's 99. switch picture in, picture off if it's actually on. It says it's on. Now it says it's off. It says there's sound, but we won't find out that till we edit the video. I've switched it off. I don't know what this N and A stands for. So the A was for auto squelch. Noise blanker, we don't want that. Bear in mind that noise blankers only work on AM. So how do we get rid of that? Because I don't want to do an on the air test with that on. Is it in the hidden menu? Yeah, it is. Want to get rid of that. And seeing as the customer's never going to use it in anything but UK channels, he doesn't need that to have that on. So menu is you press the channel 9/19 button whilst turning on the radio. So bleep, let's see, is off. Oh, how do we go to the next one? Oh, AM FM. And now it's timed out. I hate it when things time out. It's like these banking things. You go online, and I don't have a mobile phone. But when I did, this is one of the things that stopped me having a mobile phone, because they don't work here. They work outside if you pick your spot, but they don't work in the house. And what you do a banking transaction. We've sent a code to your mobile phone. So you put your mobile phone on, and it has to faff about, doesn't it, booting up and doing its times tables. Get in the car and drive up the road, and when you get a signal, it'll get you a message, you come back to the house. You know what? The cheeky computer then says, you've timed out. Well, how can I have timed out? You know, silly things like that. You think, some 17-year-olds thought of this in London, because they don't think there's anywhere that doesn't have a mobile phone signal. And one of the wonderful things about living here is when visitors come, they can't fiddle with their mobile phones. Brilliant. Right, try again. So we're going through with toggling through, it says, with AM FM. Have I misread that? No, it's done its reset. Pressing channel 919, turn it. I've no idea how to move on. Do we use channel up, down? No, just nothing. Perhaps the button no longer does anything. Yeah, I think this button stopped working. Isn't that annoying? Right, so I'll go to the trouble of taking the set apart and see what's... there's going to be a dry joint, I expect, between the front panel so it doesn't connect there. So it connects with this ribbon cable or whatever, the whole thing does. So unplug the speaker again. Has the ribbon cable come slightly dislodged? The trouble is, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just go through it like this. But it did work for us when we went into AM. I'm wondering if there's a master reset and it's got its knickers in a twist. Let's see. Let's press both those together. Reset! So that's not in the book, is it? And that button is now working because it says scan. So, bearing in mind I've got the speaker disconnected, so let's just try again. We'll now put it back into UK mode. And now we'll see if we can get rid of those. So that wants to come off. Yep, there we are, it works perfectly now. So Vox is whatever it is, and I've run out of time. Start again. Number and noise blanker wants to be off, which it is. And then we want the timeout timer off. We want the backlight color. Let's see what the options are. Well, they're all pretty. I wish there was a green. And then there's a backlight dimmer. So we'll have it in high for now. And I think that's it. It is. So I didn't need to take the lids off. What a faff. Right, this is where we'd got to. Nineteen, Roger. Another set that takes half a second to change channel. Right, now we'll just go on to the EU set of channels. And somebody comes to the door. That from France, which has just arrived. But Mr. Chippy opens the mail. So here we go. We'll go through FM. One Nana Roger. AM. Nineteen Roger. No, back to UK. And you never know, it might say something during the course of the next couple of hours. Put squelch on auto. Oh, we've got too much interference for it to go on auto. Oh, there we are. Alright. So there we are, a set I've not seen before and that was interesting, wasn't it? It playing up having been operated on. So thank you for watching the TTI TCB550EVO version.